SpaceX successfully launched an updated prototype of its next-generation Starship vehicle on Wednesday. The stainless steel SN15, serial number 15, lifted off from SpaceX's Starbase test site, near the South Texas village of Boca Chica on Wednesday at 6:24 p.m. EST, 2224 GMT. The vehicle soared about 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers, into the sky, performed a number of maneuvers and came back down for a safe touchdown at its designated concrete landing pad 6 minutes after takeoff. Since arriving at the Suborbital Launch Site, SN15 has undergone several risk reduction tests ahead of firing up her trio of Raptors. That included the usual routine of proof testing the vehicle, filling and pressurizing the tanks with ambient, gaseous nitrogen before proceeding with cryogenic testing with liquid nitrogen. The vehicle was also loaded with liquid oxygen before a LOX dump test, aimed at improvements relating to safing the vehicle ahead of and after the flight, was completed. SpaceX then conducted a 3-engine static fire test, firing up the SN54, SN61, and SN66 Raptors, which was followed by a quick-look data review. Occasionally, such reviews have found issues with one of the engines, requiring a swap out and repeat of the test in the following days. However, this time the trio performed without issue. The potential of a recycle later in the day remained on the cards, given SpaceX likes to test the engine's use of propellant from the header tanks. These small tanks are located at the top of the nose cone, LOX, and the middle of the vehicle, CH4, liquid methane, and supply the engines for the flip and landing burn. However, Elon Musk tweeted the static fire was good and that they were preparing for launch later this week. It was yet to be confirmed if that concluded the test requirements, with another static fire notice posted to local residents. Then, with roadblocks in place, SN15 headed into another test cycle resulting in a planned single-engine static fire test. All this testing is aimed at conducting another smooth flight and an attempt to nail a smooth landing. That attempt was to take place on Friday. However, a scrub was called, resulting in the launch moving to early next week. While the weather was the main watch item on the decision to call off the attempt was due to a flight software issue. Confirmation was then gained for an attempt on Tuesday, before it was scrubbed and moved to no earlier than Wednesday. The launch occurred minus the fog bank of SN11's flight, but still in thick cloud which obscured some of the views from what proved to be a historic flight. All milestones were again achieved during flight, before a 3-engine flip and a 2-engine landing safely touched SN15 back down on the landing pad. All eyes were on that key phase of the flight, with Starship having already proven and repeated numerous major milestones while only landing in one piece during the SN10 test. However, that was a hard landing, resulting in the vehicle exploding minutes later. Moving on from those initial series of tests with SN8 through SN11, SN15 was the first vehicle to sport improvements ranging from the thrust puck to her avionics, and, importantly, the Raptor engines. Other improvements have not been revealed, although may include the header tank system, which, in total, would form a mitigation path to the issues suffered by previous Starship prototypes. Regardless, had SN15 suffered issues, SN16 is already being stacked in the mid-bay. However, if SN15 nails the landing, the path forward becomes less clear, albeit even more exciting. As seen after the successful 150-meter hops of SN5 and SN6, SpaceX's original plan to conduct a tag-team approach of repeating tests with these two vehicles was cancelled. Instead, the program pushed forward to SN8 and the first high-altitude test. Should SN15 complete all the required high-altitude test objectives, SpaceX may repeat the test or push to a higher altitude. Elon Musk could even opt to switch to the involvement of Super Heavy, which may involve a booster-only flight, or the previously reported BN3 and SN20 orbital flight. SpaceX is developing Starship to take people and cargo to the Moon, Mars and other distant destinations. The system consists of two elements, both of which are designed to be fully and rapidly reusable, a spacecraft called Starship and a giant first-stage booster named Super Heavy. Both of these vehicles will be powered by SpaceX's next-generation Raptor engine. Starship will have 6 Raptors, and Super Heavy will sport about 30, SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk has said. Though SN15 is a full-scale Starship prototype in terms of height and width, it features just 3 Raptors. Future test variants will be more powerful, and we should see these brawnier vehicles fly relatively soon. Musk has said that SpaceX aims to launch a Starship into Earth orbit before the end of the year. If the test program progresses well, Starship could be up and running not long after that. Musk said recently that he expects the system to be fully operational sometime in 2023, though he did acknowledge that his timelines tend to be ambitious. SpaceX already has a Starship mission on the books with a 2023 target launch date, Dear Moon, which will send Japanese billionaire Yusaku Maezawa and a handful of other people on a week-long flight around Earth's nearest neighbor. Starship will also fly NASA astronauts to the Moon, if all goes according to plan. The space agency's Artemis program of lunar exploration recently picked Starship as its crewed moon lander. Artemis aims to establish a sustainable, long-term human presence on and around the Moon by the end of the 2020s. The knowledge and skills gained during this effort will help humanity get to Mars in the 2030s, NASA officials have said. For the past few years, NASA has been working to achieve the first crewed Artemis moon landing by the end of 2024, as directed by the administration of former President Donald Trump. But that timeline is expected to be relaxed under President Joe Biden.